Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the Code and Coffee Show. In today's episode, we will talk a bit about Copilot and how AI can help us developers in our daily tasks, especially those more boring and tedious ones. Because from some time I'm already not, my main focus is in development, I decided to have a great guest who knows much more about using Copilot than me. And that's why Hana is with us. Hana is a self-taught developer who learned programming in the late 20s, working as a software engineer focusing on JavaScript, mostly React, NextJS, and Remix, having a passion for learning new things, teaching others, and running. Did I forget something?
Hello, thanks. First, thanks for having me. I think it was my introduction. Maybe I'm a huge Star Wars fan, as you can see. So yeah, expect some Star Wars references during the show today.
Which is perfect because probably apart from coffee, Star Wars is also one of the things that I think you have like the 90% chance that if you start talking with the developer, you mention Star Wars to be, yeah, of course I love them too. On the other hand, it's quite easy to start those Star Trek versus the Star Wars war.
Yes, those are very hard.
That is true. But yeah, this is the Code and Coffee Show. So let's start with the second part. Probably I should change the name to Coffee and Code Show, so it will be kind of about the order of the show. But yeah, it is as it is. So tell me, are you a coffee drinker?
Yes, I am a coffee lover, so I drink lots of coffee, usually like even 5 cups per day.
Much more than me.
Yeah, my body is running on coffee. I am one of the developers who turns coffee into gold.
I would say that again, this is again one of those things that kind of unites us, right? Because
Yes.
I really think that there are some topics, like I mentioned, coffee, Star Wars, probably either sci-fi or fantasy, and you can start talking about it. And like I said, 90% chance, yes, it's a developer, so probably he or she will have opinions about those topics, and very often those are strong opinions. So, and tell me, what is your favorite type of coffee?
It it depends. I think now the first one would be filter coffee
Mm-hmm.
because I just enjoy, just doing my
The routine, the
the
routine.
routine of like just preparing coffee home. I of course like espresso or americano.
Mm-hmm.
I don't much enjoy coffee with milk, so that's something I would do just once per month, a cup of cappuccino. Yeah, but I just really like the routine of doing my morning coffee if I work from home, because in the
Mm-hmm.
office it's just the coffee machine pressing the button, and
I
then it's
remember that the one time that I worked at the office, because most of my career I spent working from home. So, for example, when COVID came, nothing changed for me. I especially bought my second AeroPress, my second grinder, just to have it in my office so I can still enjoy the routine in the office. And I remember that many people were always like, "Hey, what are you doing? What is it? How does it taste?" So yeah, I was kind of doing this daily show about coffee and how to brew it, and it was quite fun to have an audience. And do you have your favorite country when it comes to the coffee origin
I
or
like
some
to try
type?
different flavors. So, and usually it depends because sometimes I really like just the just the pure coffee without like
Mhm,
any flavor. Sometimes I like the chocolate or nut
mhm.
flavor in my coffee. So, but I like to experiment like with different kinds of coffee and different types. And even if I go to some coffee place, I just like if they have sort of rotation, especially on the
Mhm.
filter. So it's like different coffee every week.
I fully understand it, and to be honest, I'm always kind of doing the same because, like my question, what weirdest coffee do you have right now? I want it, something like this because yeah, this is. I mean, this is the coolest part, right, about coffee, that it really has so many flavors, even if many people kind of think that, yeah, the coffee has this, I mean, the coffee tastes like coffee, that it's kind of, strong and a bit bitter. No, that's not true. It's the coffee has so many amazing tastes, and yeah, I mean, I always encourage everyone to experiment, to try. And I don't know, do you know this application called European Coffee Trip?
No, I don't. European Coffee Trip. Writing
No
it down.
problem. So yeah, probably you should, because it's really amazing, because it lists all the specialty coffee places in different cities. And this kind of became the way how we started sightseeing cities. So we look for all those coffee places and we travel from one to another, seeing all the different more or less beautiful parts of the cities in the process. So it's kind of enjoyable. So let me just check, because I see that Muele is with us. He's saying, of course, hi. He's kind of a regular here, so hi, Muele.
Hi.
Okay, so let's go to the topic of AI. So, like I mentioned at the beginning, because I kind of changed my role from a typical developer to more of this dev thing. So I code less, and while I do use AI in different things, I never kind of started using Copilot. And then I saw your great article when you showed many different ways how we can benefit from using Copilot. And like, this was the main reason when I decided, yes, this is a great reason that I can write to Hana, hey, maybe you will be a guest at the Code and Coffee show. And but still, like I said, I kind of missed this using AI for coding. And but you didn't. You use it every day, right? And so, in short, do you recommend it, or maybe first learn coding as usual, and then start using AI? What's your opinion here?
Yeah, I had to admit that I changed that opinion a few months back, because first for me it was strictly for people who know the stuff. But now I think it evolves so fast, and we have like chat interfaces. And I think in the last 6 months there was really huge progress in what it can do. So I see that everyone can benefit it, because if somebody is learning or is junior, he can just get instant feedback. He can ask questions, and having this like someone like to ask questions to it, because it's so hard to get a senior developer, especially in the office or if you are working remote, just to answer like every questions you might have, right? And I think like with Copilot or other AI tools, the benefit is that you can get instant feedback, and also like Copilot can see your code, so it can like tailor the answer to it. And it already did all the Googling and all the searching for you, and it knows the documentation, right? Like from my point of view, being a senior, I miss the coding. It's like probably something similar to you. You spend much time on coding because you moved like into different role. But for me, it's like moving into more and more senior role. It means I have lots of meetings, lots of code reviews, and I usually spend like 3 hours per day coding, maybe sometimes even less. So for me, it's just like it can speed me up. So I don't need to write every single character. I don't need to, just spend time doing things like writing unit tests. But I can just, focus on the actual coding, on solving the problem, solving the business logic, and just having fun coding.
Yeah, I kind of remember it from my senior days, that because many people kind of think that the moment when you become senior, it will just mean that you will write more code. No, that's exactly the opposite. This is what you mentioned. This is the moment when you start attending all the meetings, when you have when you take part in taking more decisions. And when you become this unblocker of anyone else, so everyone asks you questions, you become this kind of Office Google or Office Stack Overflow, and yeah, I can imagine that. And I also know it while using ChatGPT that yeah, it knows much more than any senior developer. So while some of the answers may be wrong or wrong-ish, they can still be a great starting point. I mean, lately I had this problem with integrating one payment method that didn't work, and like as a last solution, I thought, okay, I will ask ChatGPT, and I was really skeptical because it was also a Polish payment gate, so I thought that there is a huge chance that it won't have the information. And while the answer was a bit wrong, still it gave me inspiration. And 15 minutes later, I made everything working. So yeah, I can now imagine. And tell me, don't you have this feeling that AI can make us lazy? Because we don't have to search for stuff. We can just ask for it. It can generate almost everything for us. Sometimes better, sometimes worse.
Yeah, the question is if being lazy is bad trait of a developer, right? Because it says that we should be lazy because it makes us automate things and improve things.
True.
I think it really depends, because for me it doesn't like change how we think about writing code. It just changed the tool, right? Because there might be developers who always wanted to understand the code, and let's say before all AI tools, right? If I had a problem and I need to solve it, I try to Google it. Usually, I ended up on Stack Overflow having some code snippet that I copied to my code, and then I spend like sometimes even 1 hour trying to understand every single line. And I think this can be really speed up because I can, in my IDE, I can get the code and I can ask questions about it. And it might not take 1 hour, but in 10 minutes, I have the full understanding of what the code I did not understood at all, like what it does and how it works.
Okay. Yeah. So again, it kind of depends on the person using it, because yeah, for you it didn't change a thing, apart from the fact that you just asked the AI to kind of explain some parts line by line, and for some people they will still use it as some Stack Overflow. They just they just copied and pasted the code, and sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't, and they didn't care too much because
exactly. I think it's just really change of the tool, and I still go to documentation side and just documentation myself sometimes. It's not that I rely on AI 100%. Still kind of sometimes enjoy going through docs and reading like how the maintainers decided to describe the features.
yeah. So I mean, Copilot for you is more as this either the second developer in pair programming, or this rubber duck, but a bit more interactive, because it can answer some problems rather than just a source of knowledge that that you just copy from. And that's really important, because we have now right now a lot of those discussions. Will AI take place of developers? For me, I don't see it. I really don't see it, because I mean, code is just a part of being a developer. Having an idea, having kind of connecting those things. This is the part where AI still fails, and probably always will. But on the other hand, the amount of knowledge that AI has is incomparable with us. I mean, we just don't stand the chance of having the whole knowledge of the internet, until some year, of course. And what are the downsides of using tools like Copilot, in your opinion?
I think first it will always be that it has data up to some point, right? So everything what comes after that point, AI just doesn't know it because it's not part of the set it's trained on, which I experience with Remix a lot with the previous versions of Copilot or ChatGPT. I think the other one might be that everything evolves. So sometimes we might have some libraries that implement some solution, but later there might be something else, and those libraries might, be deprecated or they are not maintained. But they are so highly adopted that they will always be part of the generated code. So this is like where AI cannot make the decision about what is good to use and what is not good to use. And also for the code, maybe if the code is too complex, it might not like get the full understanding of it. For example, it generates unit tests very well if it's simple component or simple function, but when it's become too complicated, like you might open connection to database or having like some crazy structure of the data, it will have a problem like to mock the data correctly or do like all the steps that are necessary.
But on the other hand, with the last step that you mentioned, it's kind of a great encouragement for us to write better code.
Yes.
Right? Because the moment when our code is simpler, the AI will also have easier time helping us. And this is also the thing, because yesterday we also had a short chat before going live today. We also talk about the enterprises that has a lot of code and a lot of solutions that are gatekept and hidden from the world, so AI also doesn't have access to it. And this is again the part where, for example, Copilot will quite fail because it won't know a thing about those things.
Yes, exactly. All those internal APIs we might have, or internal services that are not documented publicly, right? Or we might have some standards internally. So you might have a code that's working, but somebody will be doing code review for you and will point out 10 things because it's not aligned with coding standards. But I think it's just next step for the AI to allow you to customize.
Those private repositories. Also, on the other hand, I can imagine how AI should encourage developers to take care of better documentation, because documentation is also the source from which the AI will learn. So if they want their solutions included in the next versions of Copilot or ChatGPT or whatever, they will kind of have to provide everything as, again, in an as easy form as possible. But I think that let's kind of jump a bit into practice and let's kind of show what Copilot can do and what can't, where maybe will it fail a bit, because this is live, so probably something will fail, and we are prepared for it, I think. Or maybe not, we'll see.
Yes. Well, we can blame the Copilot, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm also very, very interested to see. Okay, I hope that everyone can see it clearly. If you think that the fonts are too small or something, just write in the comments. We will try to fix it.
Okay, so yesterday I just created a very simple React application. And you actually gave me a good idea to use the Star Wars API. So I just decided let's give it a try. And let's just code something using the Star Wars API. But yeah, since this really, what it does, it just prints Star Wars, right? So maybe I would like to have some kind of styling, right, to my page. So I can easily just use Control-I and say to Copilot, maybe give the main element some padding from all sides, maybe some dark background and one text, and use Tailwind classes because I connected Tailwind. So this is my prompt. Let's see what it suggested. And this is what I like if I use this version of like asking Copilot in a question. It will show me just a div, the same as I see when I'm merging, for example, right? Some changes. I just see, okay, I can review the changes. I could also, if it's not good, maybe I can just change. So let's say that I don't want dark, but I want dark blue background. And I can just, ask again. Okay, decided for dark gray for some reason. So this is one of the things, but it fails. It doesn't understand dark for some reason, but let's say I'm okay with it. So this is like one really good way how to trigger the Copilot and actually like see exactly what it does. The other good one is the chat. And this works very similarly, like people might be used from ChatGPT. So I can ask any questions. Let's see, I would not know how to add Tailwind, so I can just ask, how can I add Tailwind to my project? And it's really, instead of Googling, I will get like step-by-step instructions. And for me, this is very handy because whenever I go Google something, the chances are that I just notice some notification or new email and it takes my attention. But this way, it just does the Googling for me, right? And I can easily either like this button just puts it in my terminal, so no need to copy, right? This one will just put it where my cursor is in the file, and this will just copy it into a clipboard, right? So, and this is like really, this is what I like about it, because when I am doing something I don't remember well, or it's some new technology and I'm asking questions, it really just gives me a nice English description of what I need to do step by step. Like this is how I imagine the good documentation being written, right? But let's just maybe start and ask Copilot that. Let's just try to, if it will understand that maybe I want to have some constant. See, for example, it knows that it should be starships, just because I have here, okay, missing import, and let's just continue with use effect. Okay, that's fetch. That's exactly what I would need.
What we want, exactly.
Okay, let's just try. Let's try to create a type, right? So starship. Let's just wait. Oh, and it really works. And it really gives me, to be honest, I don't think it's all the fields that it provides. And this is where it might fail a bit, because I think there might be more fields, or at least yesterday it prompted me with more values. But somehow it understands what I want, right? And if I would do it quickly, I'm done in like 30 seconds with this.
Yeah, I also saw that there was the microphone option, so you could like literally not even touch the keyboard and have everything written.
Yes, I haven't tried because I had some extension, but yes, you can actually talk to AI then. That's really nice. Okay, I have my main text, so let's try. See, and I did absolutely nothing. I just pressed enter. and it sort of like decides what to do. But let's just say to Copilot, create a table with Starship data. I'm just curious if I can have a look, and it's really nice. All the text should look like so. Yeah, and just be honest, like how many people can write HTML table just out of memory, right?
I can. I still remember it.
Yes, I do, but I know some people who struggle with it.
I mean, I can tell that I am that old that I remember the structure of the table.
Yeah, and as you can see, it even here add a type to my use state. So
I see. It's wow. I mean, the amount of work that you had to do compared to the result is like absolutely amazing. So yeah, maybe let's see how it looks like on the front end, right?
Let's just run it.
It works.
It works. Not the prettiest, but
it works.
So, and let's say that now I change my mind and I don't actually like the table because I can see that it's not the nicest UI. So let's try to create a component, right? Maybe a card component. And again, it just assumes that I want to use it for my Starship. Okay, now that's actually a lot of code.
Oh, and I see it's styled and everything. I see gold and no, it's bold, not gold.
So usually when I have some design in Figma, I would not accept it and I would just, try to write it myself or give it instruction, but let's be bold. Let's try it, right?
Yeah, let's see. It's quite fascinating, really.
I just need to export the type here so I can import it over here. Now I will remove the table. Okay. And see now it just tries to do something what I don't want. So let's say iterate over starships and use card component for each item. Let's see if it understands what I want.
Wow.
Now I am actually curious how it will work. So I must say the styling is not bad at all. I think it might be a good starting point, right? Even.
I mean, for example, knowing my personal skills when it comes to styling, I couldn't do better. So...
Yes. Yeah, so looks good. And let's now try to do the fun part, right? Let's now go here. Actually, some commands are used so often that you can just use slash and you can see the most common one, and one is test. So it even creates a nice mock.
I see the Millennium Falcon already.
Okay, so let's create a test file. And if I go here, I can easily just copy test here. Now it seems it's not working that good because now we can see
that the Starship class is missing.
the Starship class is missing, but so as you can see, it's not 100% correct, but it's really a good starting point, right? Just imagine.
You added
thinking
one
about it.
line, so that's almost nothing.
Now let's see. Okay. Only one test failed. Let's see which one.
Crew size. So it failed to render the crew size. Yeah.
Let's see, because here we have 4. Let's see actually if we are rendering crew size.
It is here.
It is here.
And
Let me just. See, it says crew 4. It might be that. Okay, it might just be it founds more of those. So if I do something like this.
now it's still. Or maybe we can get. Oh, wait. It was for sure the crew size.
I think it was not. Let's try.
Oh, yeah, if you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it was just because it's a regular expression, so it find number 4 somewhere else. So.
Oh, probably so. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this is for me the fun part because it can create something like this. What would take me some time to write. It even understand the references, which is nice. If somebody has the same like issue as I do, that it needs to be nice data, then it solves that as well. And basically, I just do the review of it. Sometimes a bit of debugging. And personally, I am the kind of developer who loves debugging. So yeah, for me, that's.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that that we saw that AI won't replace the developer still. AI generated almost correct code, but we had to intervene and fix it a bit.
Yeah, and I think it's always the case. This is even like with easy examples, it will fail a bit, but if it would be something more complex, we might have different issues. So I think it's not 100% correct, but it can help, it can speed things up. When I am writing like my own applications or just learning and writing something for fun, I am grateful it can like do some styling because that's not my area of expertise. So like for me, this is like I'm just wow. Okay, I can just position elements better, but just having the styling out of the box.
Right. This part is amazing. I mean, personally, I always have to ask my wife to do it because she knows how to write all those Tailwind classes and everything. I don't. So.
Yeah, I need to ask someone, or I am playing for a few days with that Versal tool for generating stuff. So this is also a nice way how to use AI, sort of like to give you the visual, and then you can go and code it using AI. So
It's really amazing, yeah. Okay, so what else can AI help us with?
yeah, I wanted to try one more thing because let's say we have some state management, right? This is also for me tedious work, especially if it's simple class. So let's import Starship. So we this is Redux toolkit. Okay, but I'm not
One thing that we got mentioned in the comments. Personally, I have created few complete working WordPress plugins which are working well just with using AI, like completely. So yeah, it really can do a lot.
Let's just create like some application store. And let's say I would like to use Redux Toolkit, which I already connected here. So I start with always with okay. Let's also maybe import that Starship. And now it gives better suggestion because before it was just the counter, right? So some hello world version of a store, but now if I just imported my type and now it knows at least something. So yeah, let's say initial state. So let's start with creating the actual slice. Okay, add stars. So let's see if it would, in theory, knows how to update.
Okay, he wants to update the name and the color.
Yeah, it would, for example, update the name or the color, but let's say that I think we don't have
an ID, yeah.
So we would have to do it based on name. And we don't have color, so it's just a question, what would we could also here just decide which things we want to update, but as you see, it also just helps a bit, right? You probably want to have the delete.
Yeah, I mean, it created all the tedious work for us. I mean, we just manually can add which variables we are interested in, but the worst part in writing
sometimes does this small mistakes, but now it understands that the name is the unique thing for every Starship, and it actually tries to find, and then it spices it. Maybe let's say it might be one of ways how to do it right. And then the same way we could just generate unit test, or we could just decide to have more things. But this is what I like about Copilot, that it writes most of the tedious code for me. Because in some production application, I will have lots of entities and I need to do grep operations for every single one of those. So just being able to write all those, let's say, reducers with unit tests, like very fast is for me, that's a big time saving, and also I can concentrate on something else.
Okay, so yeah, let's see if it will work, right? It should, in theory.
I think it. The problem is that we are just now. We are having starships. We would have to. In theory, it should work. We just need to not use this one, or maybe I can just ask Copilot. I have. We exported. Now I'm gonna do a bit of review before. I think we are missing this one, which would cause us problem later on. I don't know, for some reason it always forgets about this one.
Okay.
Now we need to... I'm just curious if it would do all the work or not. Okay, for some reason. Okay, now it's the time, but it's not working best way. Yes, but now it needed a bit of work. So now we have it configured, and maybe let's ask Copilot to replace all the state with Starship store. It's just the import does not go here, but it should go here. Yes, and I call it App Store. This is sometimes when it comes up with better names than I do. Okay, and see how I... Let's maybe try it one more time, and then we can use the chat interface. Let's here.
I mean, I can also imagine that the longer you will use it in one application, the better it will learn. We already saw a few cases here when for the first time Copilot went with a more generic answer, and the second time you wanted to use it, it gave the correct one. So
just set all the data, so we have a function to set the array, and then this is not the best solution. I'm just first gonna see if it works or not. But the good thing is that I might just
ask it with the
okay. I think there is just, but let's just ask generally how. I haven't used Redux toolkit for a while, so how can I get data from store using Redux Okay. And this is when it's good because I haven't worked for like 2 months or 3 months with Redux Toolkit. But probably if I would have something like something similar already in the code, it would just be a bit smarter about it. So let's try it this way. When it says I will copy now, just and how can I use set star shapes in the fetch function? And this is really what I like about it, that
yes, it gives you the immediate answer.
So let's see.
With an explanation.
Just expand it a bit. But now it goes to, see, it goes to set state again, which is not what I want. And we'll just so maybe let's just ask this. How can I use the set starship function in my code to set state? Sometimes it's really about just finding the right prompt. But now it says me that I should use dispatch and that this. Okay, so this looks like a good suggestion for us. And here this one goes. And then we will just dispatch it, even it leaves a placeholder for me, so we can discard it here. And now it just seems not to stay this type of unknown. But I really like the idea that it's actually failing, because now people see that it saves time, but it also just creates bugs which we need to solve, which personally I like.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a good thing that it kind of shows others that AI is still not something that will replace us. It's a tool that can help us, in some cases, but on the other hand, yeah, still it can introduce new bugs. people are still needed to solve them.
So let's just create, oh, but it has root state here. So yeah, so just asking about assigning type, and now it seems okay. So fingers crossed.
Starship map is not a function.
It's maybe just because, of course, it won't be initialized at the beginning. So let's see.
But we have an object.
And it says,
It works.
so we need Starship results. So let's just go in the code. Maybe just here. Now it looks better.
Yes.
Yes. And we have it now, just not in the using like set state locally in the component, but we have it in our state management. So yeah, it took a bit more time just to rewrite it, but it's because it's the new application. So if we would now add like some other state, like with the characters or planets from Star Wars, it would just get a bit faster because it already has some like starting code, right? It would know that it just follows the pattern.
Exactly, yeah. And okay, and one more thing, because we mentioned at the beginning that Copilot is great for explaining things. I myself, I am not a React developer. I'm also with PHP. And for example, I don't understand some parts about state management. Could you show, so it can explain me some stuff about what the heck is happening in this file?
Yeah, let's say that you would just go through it and you might see, okay, like I have something what's called application store, but let's just try to select everything. And like the first one is you can just say explain. And we will see if it explains the code or it explains like something behind it. So yeah, it now tells you it's part of Redux.setup. We have create slice, something about initial state.
Okay.
Also with every method.
Okay, and if I would need an explanation of something more, I would just ask him to kind of go deeper into.
Let's say we might add what is the Redux toolkit library for, right? Let's say we want even just step up a bit and start like from the basics. And this is why I think it might be good like for people who are learning, because they might go to like, especially for your first job, right? Or like you are joining a new team, new project, and you can just go through the code base and you can ask questions about technologies you don't know or the code you don't understand, and you can just simple English. You can even now it sort of tells you something about what the Redux toolkit is and how it might work. So yeah, just this text interface and the fact that it sort of has the track of the conversation already. You can just follow up questions. You don't need to, just come with new prompt that has everything inside, because it keeps tracks of the conversation that already happened.
To be honest, now I'm wondering, because I remember that at some point when I tried to learn React, I kind of failed because it was so different from PHP, and I had kind of a lot of troubles understanding why things are so different. And yeah, with going this back and forth, trying to Google like literally everything because so many things were so totally different than I wrote for all of my life. And now I wonder if I would learn React together with Copilot, wouldn't it just click much faster? Because having this having an answer to each question every time in a matter of seconds without getting distracted by looking over documentation or Stack Overflows or whatever. And as you mentioned at the beginning, and probably seeing that, oh, something happened on Twitter, and 4 hours later going back to the code, it might happen that I would learn it if I kind of have those constant answers to all my stupid questions. And to be honest, this is also kind of a barrier because as a beginner, it's very easy to kind of feel, yeah, my question is probably stupid. I shouldn't ask it. And having the machine, on the other hand, it probably doesn't judge you. At least I hope so. Or who knows?
Yeah, that's actually a
Maybe
very
it
good
keeps it
point.
that.
That's a very good point because I remember like my beginnings, and sometimes I had like some errors or so, I had some error, right, and I wasn't able to fix it like 1 hour in 2 hours, and I was kind of embarrassed to ask. Like, if I ask like the senior guys, they will be just, how can she know it, right? But if I had the AI, I could ask every stupid question. So yeah, that's actually very
Right,
good.
right, because and also I also felt this that as a developer I am hired to solve problems, not to create new ones. They are paying me for solving them, and again I can imagine how and why AI can be so helpful, also kind of breaking those barriers. And on the other hand, I can imagine that probably if AI would have some problems answering with our question, we also might understand that, okay, maybe it wasn't that simple question as we thought. Maybe we shouldn't have problems asking others. So yeah, this is also the part that maybe some of you aren't thinking, but look, in my case, I can really imagine, because I'm sure that most of my React questions would be so dumb, so in theory simple. Also, I remember that reading the React documentation wasn't fun. It wasn't that
Yes.
friendly. I,
Yes,
I
they
don't
have
know.
new documentation,
Mhm.
and it's like more friendly. But yeah, I also struggle with the old one,
Okay,
and I
so
cannot count how many times I ask Copilot, how can I kill the process running on port 3000 in my terminal. I think probably like several hundred times. But that's the kind of thing I would not ask a colleague in the office.
yeah, I mean, once, okay, twice, let's say 400. Yeah, it's kind of dumb. Yeah, we should. Yeah, so yeah, this not judging part is really important. I mean, I really hope that Copilot doesn't store some extra data about us. And maybe it does judge us underneath, but at least it doesn't show it. So that's nice.
Maybe let's hope at least it doesn't like store it with our names.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, but I also like that kind of it like extracts the data, right? Because I would have to read like documentation and then probably like 2 articles on the blog and some tutorial, and it just does it for me, and it gives me the answer which I need. So
Mhm. Yeah, and do you have something else to show what Copilot can also do, or do you think that that's kind of the we can kind of start wrapping up?
think it was the main things I wanted to show. So unless you have some crazy idea, we might try to break things up a bit.
So maybe let's. Hey, everyone who is watching us, if you have some quick ideas, what can we ask the AI? You can just post it quickly, so we'll have a quick inspiration. If not, we will kind of start slowly wrapping up the show. I'm giving you like a few seconds. We'll see. Yeah, but still, I mean, for me, the two parts that were the most amazing. First of all was about writing the tests, because we all know that there are almost no people who will say, "Yeah, I really enjoy writing tests." I mean, okay, while I wrote something. Oh, this is kind of how to implement something similar in React Native.
Let's try if it has some suggestions.
Okay.
Let me just. So I think it seems like a very generic answer. So probably.
But we see now some. Yeah. I'm more of a generic answer rather than.
Yeah, I think probably we would have to be very specific about migrating every component to React Native.
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it would probably be a good idea for another show at some point to kind of try following step-by-step instructions like a mindless zombie and see what we'll achieve.
Yeah, but at least it has prompted us. It has gave us some ideas for a checklist. But I think we would have to follow on every single list to like.
Yeah, and having those, we could probably start asking it next about, okay, we have the application, we done this, and this. What now? How to move? Yeah, but still, it's something, and we didn't have to Google anything. So yeah, I mean,
I would have to first like Google something about React Native, how to start with application, and then just try to go through several migration guides, right? So
exactly.
it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, so I think someone would have to try it, which seems like.
Yeah, I think Moala asked the question, so he will probably be interested in doing so, and I'm sure that he will share the results on Twitter in a day or two, right, Moala? I'm sure he will. And so like I started, the first thing were the unit tests that they were generated fairly okay. I mean, you had to correct one or two lines, but that's almost nothing. So in the worst case, you could just concentrate on those tests that you like really need, that you know that you have to add, that the AI didn't thought about them because there are some specific ones. So that's one thing, and the second one, really the explanation part, because I can imagine really diving into a new project that I really don't understand yet. Even if I know the language, it still doesn't have to help me that much. And yeah, I can ask someone, hey, explain me. And if I will still have some doubts about some business logic, I can then start asking the developer about some details, and not about everything, about the structure, what is happening here, because I would already have some knowledge already, and I would save everyone's time. So I think that this is really useful, and I really think I will give Copilot a try, because even just to kind of play around, to ask it some stupid questions to make sure until some point. I mean, the good part, not only it doesn't judge, it also won't be angry at me. So at least I hope so. Again.
Yeah, and I would also say the auto completion is very nice because it works very
True.
well.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of the part that really happened so like almost in the background that you just start typing, okay, it happened, and you just went on that.
And it's
I
highly
can.
addictive because
Uh-huh.
I did not realize how much I am used to it until the day GitHub has some outage, so it was not working. And I was just staring at my screen for like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Where's my suggestion? Why the autocomplete works so badly?"
I mean, I wonder if I mean I'm not sure. Are there any statistics generated by Copilot? How much of the code you write right now is wrote thanks to those auto completions, and how much is your own work? I mean, this is also quite interesting info. Who knows?
Yeah, I actually look up that number, but it's 3 months old, and it was about 25% of suggestions being accepted. So
That's a lot.
that's
That's
a
a
lot,
lot.
yeah.
I mean, and especially when I saw some of those suggestions, they were quite long. I mean, they were. I mean, for example, the Starship object. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't bring any value in the fact that you would write it manually, but it was about 10 lines of writing, so kind of automating it. Cool thing.
I think like it's like really small time savings that just adds up
Mm-hmm.
during the day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really have to try it because I can imagine trying it in some language or in some framework that I'm not good at, and kind of using for learning. Who knows? Maybe finally I will learn Laravel or something maybe better. I will try. Why not?
I'm looking forward to your blog post about it.
And maybe I will also ask some AI to write it for me. I mean, I already did it a few times using Contenda. Contenda converts because I converted 2 or 3 videos from the Code and Coffee show that fitted this format, and I was really surprised how small amount of time I needed to kind of correct them and made them just okay to publish. There were some mistakes; they could be a bit reformatted, but in general, it was like 1 hour later, I had everything. And of course, I used also Midjourney to generate some images. So it was like, let's use AI for everything and see the results. And I was really surprised how well it did. Because I know that, for example, ChatGPT has this manner of writing that you kind of feel that it's AI generated. But Contenda tries to convert everything to this really natural language. So it's really amazing. Okay, so I think it's time to start wrapping everything up. So first of all, I'm very happy to see that AI won't take my job entirely, at least in a few years. So I still have like a few years to kind of master my skills in coffee, so I can, in worst case, kind of switch careers and I don't know, open a coffee shop with some specialty coffee or something like this. But like I said, I'm still happy that I have at least those 5 or 10 years to do so. On the other hand, it's truly amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. There is this gif about magic with these guys saying how to send magic. So that's it. I mean, AI is the thing that is closest to magic as it can be. I mean, you just start writing text and poof, here you go. I guessed it, right? So what And on the other hand, the part when it struggled, it was also very interesting to watch it, to see that it's not something that will solve everything. It will learn from what we create, which is great, but still we also have to kind of learn it at the beginning. So it's like a great example of this per program that we mentioned at the beginning. But yeah, I'm kind of sure that I will really start paying for Copilot for at least a few months to kind of play around with it, because it sounds truly amazing.
Yeah, I
So,
hope
yeah.
some people get motivated. I think it at least it's a great toy, and we programmers, we like to try new things,
Oh,
right? So I think everyone should at least try it and figure out if it's for him or not.
oh yes. I mean, looking at the comments, there are many words like great stuff, lovely, and things like this. So yes, it really, and it really looks amazing. I mean, it really looks amazing that there is something that is guessing kind of your thoughts and generating things for you. It's mind blowing. Thank you, Hannah, again for spending this time with us and showing us how we can use Copilot in our projects. It was really amazing to learn so much about it. Thank you everyone for watching this episode, and this was the last episode of this season. Now I will take a few months break. Not sure how long, but I'm sure it's about 2 or 3. And then we will be back with the 3rd season with new topics, new guests. And so if you have any great ideas, just ping me on Twitter. We'll start looking for amazing guests for those topics, and yeah. So Hannah, again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone, and have a great day, everyone. See ya.
Thank you. Bye bye.